Hello, everybody. Good to see everybody. All right. Welcome, everyone, for another evening of adventure in the world of Thalea. We are the Roiling League, and we will be taking you on a journey of peril, of adventure, of thrill, and hopefully some intrigue, and a lot of fun. So, last we left off, our intrepid adventurers were investigating a coven of hags at the behest of a mayor of the city town of Bluxbert, which seemed to be suffering a plague that transformed its victims into hideous aberrations. They ascertained that these hags may be responsible for the plague, and with promise of payment decided to investigate. They did so, led by the hag's servant, a spectator, and witnessed the various strange creatures that were under the hag's employ. Attempting to parley with the hags, they discovered that the hags were, in fact, responsible for the plague, as was the mayor who had paid them to eliminate the coven. Finding absolutely no way, shape, or form to negotiate a deal, Valerica saw fit to unleash fire upon the entire coven, battling their way through a series of magical creatures and beings. The party managed to eliminate one of the hags of the coven and several of their followers before a strange voice filled their minds, giving them warning and an invitation. Promise that there was beauty to behold, and a warning in the form of every one of the hags and their servants being liquidated before their eyes of what comes with failure. So, with this strange creature, voice, or presence lingering in their minds, and an otherwise silent cave before them, what is our party doing? That is true. That should fix it.
Hopefully that sorts out the audio issue. All of that aside, what do we want to do moving forward? Do any of you feel compelled, particularly to stick around and do anything other than collect payment and leave?
Personally, I'd like to have that mayor's head on a stick.
He is an asshole, but this isn't my land. I tend not to involve myself in foreign affairs.
Yeah. I would like to have conversation, but I do not want to stay here longer.
Do you bring the child back?
Oh my god, the child!
Yes.
Did anyone find the child?
I was waiting. I was like, there's a child in the other room? Maybe?
Liv disappeared and then came back.
The child did not want to come back.
I'm gonna send Sparks to go check for the child, GM.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
I describe with my keen mind where I remember seeing everything so that Sparks has an easier time navigating the cave to get to the child.
All right. It's not far.
And gold eyes, I'm going blind and looking through his eyes.
All right. Sounds good. So, Sparks flies through the cavern without any issues navigating. And finds the dining cooking area that Liv had seen before, and finds what appeared to be the sleeping area, and travels into the back where there seemed to be a bit of a storage place. And there, right where Liv said she would be, is a small crouched figure.
Breathing, moving.
Appears to be so.
Okay. I'm gonna have Sparks go kind of land on the ground and watch her, and then drop. She's still here. She wasn't wiped out.
Problem is, the spell that I used to bring her back requires a willing person. She's not willing, so something has already gone wrong.
Did you try talking to her?
There wasn't much time.
That's fair. Fair. Yeah. Do you want to accompany me to go check on the child?
I absolutely will, Lady Indric. And if you wish to speak to her, I will stand by. If you would like me to speak with her, I will absolutely do that.
Something tells me you might have a gentle touch with children that I do not possess. So by all means, lead the way.
I'm going to stay here and investigate this statue in this chamber, see if I can understand a little bit more about what we were dealing with here.
Okay.
That's very wise.
All right.
I will be
And I'll head out.
And I'm going to stand guard and make sure stupid things don't happen while everyone's brains are occupied elsewhere.
Okay. So, since...
Do I hear anything by any chance at some point?
make-
I'm on guard.
Sure, make a perception check. You take a listen.
18.
18? Okay. Listening in at the surroundings, you can hear your companions moving about. You don't hear the same chittering sounds that you did before. You don't hear the pitter-patter of small mutated feet. You don't hear the clinking of, loose armor and weapons. It's quiet. You hear maybe a drip or a slight draft, but nothing of any note that stands out. For all intents and purposes, a fairly standard cavern.
Lovely. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to walk up and investigate, sort of take my time and look at that giant hand statue that was coming up out of the ground with the altar there.
Okay. So, moving over to it, you do see indeed it is what looks to be a very large carved, though not by tools, kind of hand. Fingers kind of protruding, no palm, just the fingers, but in the center is this statue of a hooded figure, and as you approach, you can see where it had lit before. You can see the carvings of dozens of eyes under this cowl, and you see at the base, on a bit of a plaque, you can see an odd script.
Is the script in Common, Dwarvish, Giant, or Thorun?
It is not in any of those. No.
Okay, can I reach out and sort of put my hand on the statue and see if I can feel anything, or
Sure.
What material it might be made out of?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you reach out, hand hits the stone. A little warmer than you might have been expecting, but it's fairly balmy in the cave. It feels like stone. It feels no different than any kind of stone you've ever experienced before, which comes as a bit of a relief.
Does it smell any different, or has the temperature changed since we have disposed of the hag?
No, not especially. It's still kind of warm, a little smoky in the air, which you can tell from the cooking area was probably where that small hearth was.
So while Uther is feeling the stone and looking at it, I will approach and pull out my blacksmith's hammer.
Okay.
And I'm going to strike the stone with enough force where I think I would at least chip or break it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a strength check just for funsies.
Strength check, okay. 21.
Okay. Yeah, you unleash a mighty whack with your hammer, and it does, in fact, chip a piece of the stone off. Kind of whack it on a corner, and a piece of stone just goes flying. Statue doesn't seem to react otherwise. It acts like you would have expected a stone object to react.
You sense anything different about this?
I'm not sure. Would I be able to see any other intricate details about the making of it outside of the magic possibly used to produce it?
You know what? Go ahead and make a perception check just to be clear.
Passive is 17.
17? Okay. Good to know.
My back to the statue and sort of look around the room and see if from this position anything like catches my eye. Is there any corresponding sigil or script or sculpture anywhere in the cavern that would somehow correlate to the altar and the hand guy?
Okay. Kind of looking around in the far back of the cavern, there seems to be a passageway that kind of leads off to one side, kind of off to the right. Other than that, you see the altar in front of the statue, but a notable absence of signs and sigils carved in, but you do see those same kind of almost painted-like motifs of more kind of swirling, almost tendril-like shapes with eyes. It seems to be kind of a repeating message, but no other form of script at all.
My perception, I rolled a 13.
13? All right. So with your, we'll go with your passive. So looking at it, there's nothing remarkable about it that stands out. It seems to be one of any number of statues or sculptures that you've seen, that you might have even had a hand in making it at one point. Parts of it definitely look like it is shaped or formed rather than chiseled or carved, but it is solid stone. And you too, with your kind of full investigation of it, you can see that same kind of script on the plaque in front of it.
My next step is going to be to commune with Tierlin. I don't know if you want to resolve that or follow the ladies off to the child. I don't know what you want to do first.
Yeah, let's get them taken care of, and then we'll come back to your commune as you sit down to meditate. Gotta love it.
As we're walking over, Thea,
Yes.
what was the child's name?
I was going to ask you the same thing.
Oh crap! This is gonna look really bad.
I feel that her name Hannah or Hannah
Or Helena? I don't even remember the name of the mayor. I hate this place. I didn't think it was worth noting.
Well, I let go of the name for fear that we would find a child. I was hoping we didn't find a child, so I didn't even bother to remember the name.
I don't know how we're going to convince the child to come with us.
Let's proceed. I feel that if she's willing, I will show her my coin trick. And
Okay.
hopefully it will cause her to speak to us and maybe perhaps give us her name.
I can ask Liv. I'm just gonna, activate my spell focus pendant. Liv, what was the child's name?
I remember the name to be Hannah.
Hannah.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, your keen mind would definitely remember the child that you're supposed to be rescuing's name.
It's Hana. It's Hana. We got it. Okay. And we'll continue on.
I apologize, Lady Indrik. Honestly, there was so much going on in that battle. Did you know that Liv hit me?
Wait, Livy. Why?
She hit me in the midst of battle, and I was in so much shock, which is probably another reason why I forgot the child's name. I apologize. Let us proceed.
Okay. I'm just gonna trot after her.
Hey, little girl, your daddy sent us to pick you up. This isn't creepy at all.
Oh my god. We are those people. We are those adventurers. Come with us, children.
So true. It's so true.
We'll be just fine. I will lure her with a coin. I'm sure no one has ever done this before.
Oh, you don't happen to have any candy on you, do you? Children love candy. They love being lured with candy.
I don't. I do not.
Next
I don't
time,
even have a berry.
Next time we should pick up candy when we have to get children.
You might be right.
Okay.
So we enter the dining area.
Yeah, so you find it's easy to navigate. These are kind of wide open spaces. You can see the dining area leads kind of in two directions. You have one path to the left, which leads to kind of the sleeping area, and the other one, a room you guys haven't explored yet. So I'm assuming you just go right to where Hana is. All right.
I'm gonna have Sparks fly back to us and then kind of like do a circle and like guide us over.
Okay. Yeah, it's easy enough. But you walking in as well. It's still pretty dimly lit here. But you walking in as well, you do kind of see the little figure kind of crouched. It's strangely quiet. But occasionally you can kind of hear a little bit of a stifled breath.
Thea, go work your magic.
I nod to Lady Indrik, and I walk slowly towards the child.
Okay.
And in doing so, am I able to? I know I have a spell that can cause my eyes to change colors.
Sure.
Perhaps I can take a look at the child's eyes, and if she looks at mine, I can cause mine to, for 1 second, just turn gold and then go back.
Okay. It's not a problem. You kind of see, as you peek over the kind of stack of like chests and crates that are there, she looks up at you with these big, like, terrified eyes, and you can hear this, like, this gasp of shock as she kind of tries to move away, but very quickly runs into the cave wall.
Oh. At this point, Thea's going to take out a gold coin, and I'm immediately going to show her my trick.
Okay.
Where I make the gold coin disappear and wait for a response. Any response from the little girl?
She kind of looks at you for a second. No response just yet.
No response.
Kind of looking at you like she's squinting her eyes a little like, I'm
going to slowly approach her and nod to her, if I may, and reach out from behind her head and pull the gold coin as if it came from her hair and show her. And
Okay.
I'm going to ask, is it Hana? Is that your name?
almost completely unfazed by the coin trick. She looks at you and she says, yes? Who are you?
Hana, I am Thea. And the lady behind me is Lady Indrik. And
Hello.
we're
Kind of
here
shies
to
away.
take you with us.
Yes, you were used as a negotiation token. We are here to return you to your people.
You mean I'm going home?
Do you want to go home?
I do miss home.
We'll take you home then. Home is the city just up the way, right?
In Bluxbert, yeah.
Yes. We will take you back to Bluxbert.
Why are you here? What?
To save you.
I needed saving.
Well, what were the witches doing with you? Were they your friends?
Well, father sent me to live with them to learn magic.
Mm.
And they were teaching me all kinds of like your coin.
Did they treat you well?
They were strange, but well enough. Is it not like home? Little dirty.
Well,
And
I can't
there's
tell you
very
what comes.
strange things here, very scary creatures, but they were nice enough.
That's good. I'm glad you had a good experience. I cannot tell you what your future holds, but we've been sent to retrieve you and bring you back to your father. Is that something you would like to do?
I think so.
This is Sparks, and I'm going to bring out Sparks.
She definitely takes a step, her eyes kind of go wide, and you hear another kind of gasp. Is that a dragon?
He's a mini dragon. He's quite tame. Would you like to hold him? And he kind of like purrs and does like a little dance.
Okay. And she kind of goes up and very kind of tentative, like tries to like, tries to just barely touch
I'm going to
him.
have him like nuzzle into her hand.
Okay.
And just kind of put on the ritz for her and enthrall the child
Okay.
and make her follow us.
Okay.
So as Hana is with the baby dragon, I'm going to wrap my arm around her as if to guide her out, and we'll both follow Lady Indrik as she leads the way out.
Okay. Sounds good.
As we're going, I'm going to cast another message to Liv and say we're coming with the child.
I relay that message to the people in the room with me so they are expecting their return.
All right. Sounds good.
And I specifically warn everybody, be calm. That child did not seem to want to be here. Or did not want to be with us, I should say.
Okay. All right. So, Uther, you're communing. All right. As you as you commune in this dark space, you start to feel that electric presence of Chirlin.
Yes, for coming to me in such a deep, dark place. Something strange has happened here, and I feel it is your will that I found this black altar, but I need your guidance. Do you know which god or entity this temple served?
A moment passes, and you feel that intensifying, prickling sensation, that electrifying affirmation of yes, has an idea.
Thank you, goddess. Offered an invitation to join it in some realm. Is it your will that I pursue this being into its realm?
You feel an odd, almost tentative, it's that almost moment right before lightning strikes, where you're waiting for this build. You get the sense, it's up to you.
With your faith in me, goddess. I will ask this final question.
Okay.
Will this being continue to harm others if my friends and I do not seek it out and destroy it?
You feel this surge of energy pulse through you, like your fingertips start crackling. This is a very affirmative, emphatic yes.
Yes. I will share your message with the unbelievers, including the dragon worshipper, which I don't understand. And I will attempt to do your will.
All right, you feel the presence gently kind of leave, and feeling of clarity and cleansing, freshness left behind.
So, I would like to, now that I know they're coming back, I would like to have Freckles come down off my shoulder. I'm going to pull out my pan flutes and start playing like a cutesy little tune and like tell Freckles to dance to it so that there's like something cute for the kid to walk into.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, Freckles does his absolute best to kind of jaunt along with a little bit of a, the jig that you start playing. The rest of you hear this music kind of echo and feel surprisingly good acoustics in the area. Surprisingly good. You might expect it to be a little cacophonous, but it seems like it went really well. And you live as you're playing. You see them kind of ushering the child forward, who is torn away from attention being given to Sparks and towards the sound, and now the sign of a dancing stoat.
Gets super into it and starts dancing along as well.
Okay.
And pulls out his horn of plenty, because I can't remember the name. And bang! And then starts having a little drink and shares it with Liv.
Okay. All right. So a little impromptu party starts up, and those of you who are close by can see Hana gets a little confused and concerned.
Everyone, this is Hana. She was here to learn magic with the hags.
Hello.
There's like a 2-second pause in my music while I like, the fuck? And then go back to it because I'm like, I'm not going to get into this right now.
So, as we've told her, we're here to return her to her father.
That is where she wants to go?
That is where she wants to go.
Then let's go.
A celebration, young Hannah, and I like dance myself over and offer her my hand, like I'm gonna dance with her and see what she does.
Just backs right up, right into like Thea's like clothing, trying to like butt up. She is tiny. She comes up to maybe at your height, maybe just about your knee, mid thigh kind of height. She's very small.
And how tall is Uther again? Just as a refresher.
7'4".
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Uther goes,
Come to me,
"Hail!"
child.
Yes, and I'll summon my little tiny fae.
Okay.
I'll say, I'll show you how to dance if you don't know, and I'll dance with little Hale.
Aww. That's so cute.
She you can see she's having difficulty processing like what is happening. She's not horrified or shocked, but she's definitely having a lot of like difficulty, like a little overwhelmed.
Guys, she's gonna feel like this is a fever dream.
I'm just gonna look at
Yes.
Selima and be like, I don't know what to do with the kid.
I feel I have to whisper to Hana, especially pointing to Uther. Everyone here is quite friendly, Hana, and we're all here to protect you. Just stay away from the overgrown child. I'm not so sure about that one yet.
Kind of looks back and forth.
25.
Which one is overgrown child?
And I look back at Hana and I say, it's that giant man, slightly roasted and toasted, who's usually blue. And then I kind of shove her with my elbow and say, I'm just kidding, Hana. He's good too and kind.
Okay. Can we go?
Yes.
Okay. She kind of looks around. Her eyes, you guys kind of follow her eyes, focus on one of the slowly
gonna
expanding
stand
kind
in
of
between
puddles
her
of
and the
former
body.
creature.
Yeah, let's just head out of here. Thea, why don't you start walking her out of the cage?
I'm going to tell Freckles to like be in front of her and be like doing cutesy shit to distract her from looking off the sides on the way out. That way she's not going to see anything gruesome and gross. And
Okay. That sounds good. I love the way that this party thinks about entertaining children.
I've had many
Uther's
brothers
going
and
to
sisters. I've had lots of practice.
All right.
Most of them.
Uther's going to sort of stop his dancing for a second and go, friends, I have news that I must share with you before we leave this place, and just encourage everybody to have a quick conversation, maybe without the child hearing, before we depart.
Thea, we'll catch up with you if you want to start. I'll send Sparks ahead with you, and he'll alarm me if you need any help moving forward.
As you wish, Lady Endrick. Hana, let's keep walking.
And Freckles is with you guys because I've given Freckles her command or his command already.
All right. Sounds good. So, Thea, you start to lead her out, and the rest of the party convenes. Go ahead and have your talk.
Yes. Friends, while you were retrieving the child, and I communed with my god, and I asked her for guidance. Eyeball man over there, standing in the hand. What I was told was that she was aware of this being, this entity. She cared neither favorably nor unfavorably for whether or not I pursued him. So I'm not compelled to chase this multi-eyed fiend down. However, the last question I asked her before my spell ended was whether this entity, this creature, would continue to harm innocents if we didn't do something to stop him, if we didn't perhaps chase him down and beat him over the head many times with heavy things. I wanted to put it before the group. It seems we have come upon a great evil, and Lady Indrik, I understand you have responsibility to your lands, and that is first and foremost. I completely understand, but I don't sense that there is. So strong was my goddess's response to this being's willingness to do evil. It doesn't seem like it's confined to this territory. It seems as though it is such a threat as may pursue us elsewhere or harm other lands. I leave it before the group to decide how we proceed, but it feels like destiny has put us in the way of this great evil.
At this point, I think it most prudent to get more information. The name did not initially trigger any entity that I am aware of, and I loathe to be on the target list, of something that powerful. So my thoughts are, we turn in the child, and thankfully, I can teleport us back to Korensburg, and we can access the libraries there. Start doing some research about what this entity is, and see if there's any way we can start getting a lead on it. But I want at least them to forget about us, whatever it is, and in best case scenario, stop harming innocents.
As you guys investigated the statue, did you guys find anything unique about it? Anything magical? Anything?
There was a script written on it that we could not understand.
May I take a look at it?
I can go cast comprehend languages on it, and we can read it.
What
Yeah,
I think, other
Unless
than
it's something I know.
conjured stones, slightly chiseled, but nothing that would be out of the ordinary.
Okay.
With a hammer
I'm going to step over. Is it by chance undercommon, which is let everything speaks down here?
It is not undercommon, no.
All right, then I'm going to cast comprehend languages so I can read it.
Okay.
I can ritual cast it, or you can use your energy. It's your call.
I'll use my energy. I've got plenty of space right now.
All right.
Okay. So as you cast comprehend languages, the script transforms magically in your mind's eye to something readable. It says, "The Lord of Eyes, Herald of Sight, Shaper of Beauty."
And I read this out loud to the group to see if it triggers any information or memories from anyone.
Can I roll to see if that triggers anything for Valerica?
Sure, yeah. Roll a history,
Religion?
arcana, or religion.
Now, I have a
Same if that's
question.
all right.
It doesn't specify this on the spell, but when I use comprehend languages just to be able to read it, does that then tell me what language it was in, or is it only the translation I magically get in my languages?
That's a good point. Let me double check.
I have my roll ready for whenever you need it.
All right. Un momento. Yes. No, it doesn't say that you know what language it is, so yeah.
All right.
It's just a language.
16.
16?
Yeah.
Roll a
Sound
17 on a religion check.
okay. Neither sounds particularly familiar. They're in your religious studies, Uther, of beings, fiends, celestials, religious icons, heroes, deities. Nothing sound like anyone goes by that title. And for you, Valerica, there's nothing in your studies or your understanding of kind of magic or practice that you can recall at this point. Nothing is coming to mind.
Helpful as though that may be, it's not triggering any memories for me. I don't know what that is. But the college might have some information on it.
Just in case, I mean, I know I will remember it for a certain amount of time, but depending on how long our adventure takes, and just to be on the safe side, I'm going to pull out some parchment and make an etching of the language in its original form.
Okay. Sounds good.
We at least have a copy of it in case it's been so long that I can't remember.
Yeah, that makes sense. Go ahead. Not a problem.
Hey, Thurgle.
Yes.
Remove the incantation from the stone, please.
Remove the incantation from the stone.
Bring down this thing.
With pleasure. I am going to flip it. Which one?
He has so many he can use for this.
I don't know what's chasing us, and I don't want any trail left behind. Are we in agreement on that?
Putting the cave down on top of us, okay?
Good point.
Yeah, that would be preferable.
This was a me thought of fabricating into giant penis. But Thurgle would do something a little more classy.
Would he? Would he?
Just a little.
He would disguise it into palm tree, but yes. Ah, yes, that's the one I want.
Out of curiosity, DM, based off of my travels, would I recognize it at all?
Make a history check.
History?
Yeah.
Think we're going to need a nat 20 on this.
Come on. Come on.
16 plus 2, that's 18.
18. As far as recognizing the script, it looks like deep speech.
Ooh.
You've seen it in a few places, not very many, mostly in kind of old ruins.
Okay.
But as you're kind of piecing things together, seeing kind of the Dolgrums and the Dolgaunts, the places that you've kind of seen or heard of them before, this bears a resemblance to a deep speech.
Okay. Right. I'm going to relay that I can't be certain, but it's quite possibly deep speech, given the different treks and caves and ruins I've gone through. But I'm not certain, but it's a start.
Sounds delightful.
So, Thurgle, you were destroying the statue?
Yes, I am walking up to it and I'm using stone shape
Okay.
at the level 4. So I'm going to be placing my hand on it and just making it turn into basically small pebbles, as small as can be.
Okay. Yeah. channeling the magic of your deity, you reach in, find every seam, every crack, every small imperfection in the stone, and it just starts to crumble, and it is now just a pile of neat, almost uniform pebbles that are just standing there in a pile now, as it just crumbles before everybody.
I want to pocket one as a souvenir from this trip.
Okay, sounds good. You pluck up a pebble and now have a pebble.
Yeah, I'll take one too.
Okay, sounds good. Make a note of it in your inventory.
So I have a thought. As I'm gonna say this as like ushering us out to go catch up to Thea and the child. The child cannot travel the same way that we did. There are only 6 of us allowed in the mansion at any given point. Now, that being said, I could polymorph the child, and this whole thing will be a lot less annoying.
Or we could bring one of the horses out and one of us could just carry everything back with the child inside.
Remember that one time you turned me into a dragon?
I did.
That was fun.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I don't think that will work outside of a pocket dimension, but that was a lot of fun.
You'll get shot down though because Bluxbert's full of fucking morons.
Which is why I don't really
Right.
want you to polymorph her, because we bring her back as an animal or other thing and she dies.
Well, they'd have to kill the animal
never-
form first.
But she's gone through
I've-
enough.
I was going to say I've never been one for child rearing, but I feel as though she's probably seen some very interesting things over these last several weeks, and then being turned to some sort of fantastical creature against her will might just be the icing on the wrong cake.
I suppose that's wise. Fair enough. I just don't want to walk.
If I were to make a suggestion, Salima, if you are willing, you seem to have the best rapport with the people of the city, so if you came back, perhaps on a horse, that would surprise them. But I feel like you'd be able to smooth things over better, because, you know, I clearly have stuck my foot in my mouth on this one.
But at least you taught them how to say hello.
You realize they're going to actually think that is a cultural greeting now.
You know,
God
by the time
forbid
they
you
meet
go to
another
some
person
diplomatic
from
affair and
Airhead,
walk around like this the entire time.
we'll have to come back and visit the city in 50 years and see if it's a fad.
Fair enough.
We lost
I'm
Peter.
going to check on Sparks and see how they're doing.
Okay, sounds good.
Meanwhile,
Seems like we lost. There he is. Welcome back.
Let me know when you're with Hana and I feel you're not prepared for what you're about to see.
Okay. Well, meanwhile, yes, with Thea and Hana, you guide her through the rest of the cavern. You can see a few more splotches where creatures have just kind of disintegrated in place. A little messy, a little gross, but eventually you do make your way out of the cavern and back into the kind of swampy outside.
At this point, as soon as we're outside, we have Sparks,
Mm-hmm.
we have Freckles.
Mm-hmm.
My little mouse soul has now come out from behind my hair.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just dancing and entertaining this child and trying to just get her to join. And her eyes are probably so wide right now, but there is a party going on outside.
It takes a moment. It takes longer than you would have expected. Most children that you've had experience with are joyful creatures. They enjoy play, they enjoy silliness. And the idea of animals that are happily frolicking around them would typically be a delight. You're starting to wonder if there's something wrong with this child. Your mind thinks back to the people that you've interacted with here, and you can see that they tend to... They probably breed reservation and reticence into them pretty young. But eventually, as you're kind of watching and waiting for your companions to come out, eventually she starts to, crack a little bit. Then she starts to approach and then interact. And then she starts to chase them. And she starts to run around and seems to have quite a time of it, actually. Quite a time of it. After a moment or so, she runs back up to you, kind of out of breath. You can see the other creatures are still doing their thing. The familiars are still running around each other. She runs up to you. She looks at you. She's, don't have these where I'm from. I've never seen such things. Are there more where you're from? You know, the Emperor says no animals. So, I don't know why they're so cute.
Thea looks at Hana and says they are quite adorable. And I actually have never seen them dance so much and essentially celebrate. I'm not even sure what they're celebrating, but they are having a ball. But what do you mean there are no animals allowed where you live?
She kind of puffs herself up a little bit. She starts taking on this almost like authority-based stance. It is imperial decree that there are no animals anywhere near settlements. And if we see an animal, we kill it on sight.
Do you get to eat the animal? Or what
kind of
do
looks
you
at
do?
you like, you eat animals? Why would you eat animals?
Have we walked in on this conversation yet?
No.
Or are we still in the cave?
No, you guys have been hanging out doing stuff in the cave. Like, your stuff takes time, yeah.
So Thea isn't thoroughly uncomfortable with this conversation, so I divert to another thoroughly uncomfortable conversation with Hana, and I ask her, Hana, since you've been in this cave with the witches, have you seen any other children in this cave?
Kind of screws up her face. I have not seen any since I came. I did not know they had children. Did you find more?
We did not find more, but I'm just concerned. I've never really seen witches that have been so kind. Is that what you're saying? They were kind to you?
They were okay. I slept on the floor. But they fed me and they taught me magic tricks. It was quite nice.
Huh. Hana, can you show me a magic trick?
Sure.
Oh no.
She starts to kind of focus. And she starts kind of enchanting and waving her hand. And immediately you can see the formation of a very rude spell. And she focuses in, face gets all tight, and she's really kind of focusing. Quite adorable. Spell fails. And then she tries it again. And so she gets more frustrated. Spell fails again. She tries again. Spell fails again. She's like, wait. Spell fails again.
Aww.
And she kind of looks. Okay. One more try. They taught me this. And she conjures, in a brief moment of this concentration, this spectral hand.
Can I ask, is this coming out of the ground, out of her hand?
It's kind of floating there. And you can see the telltale signs of the mage hand spell. And she
I feel
stands
Thea
there and
is
looks
just
very proud.
shocked.
Oh, wait. I have another one. Do you want to see it?
All I do is just try to reach out and see if I can tap her on the shoulder to signal yes. But
Okay.
I'm just still shocked about the mage hand.
She grabs, she kind of beckons you to kind of bend down. And she reaches behind where your ear would be. And she pulls her hand back really quickly, and there's a gold coin.
That's adorable.
And she looks at you like, they taught me this one too. And you see that as she kind of loses focus, the coin starts to flicker and then disappears.
Thea is just shocked. Absolutely gobsmacked. But in a weird way, just so proud of her. So Thea has no other choice but to say, Hana, are these the magic tricks that you have been working on with the witches?
They said I wasn't ready for the big ones, but I could learn a few small ones.
Well, Hana, these seem quite all right for now. You will do really well with magic someday if you keep practicing. You're already doing really well, as far as I can see.
Yes. I hope that I get to continue learning, though I don't know where I will. I'm not going to spend time with the nice ladies anymore.
Oh. Well, Hana, since your gold coin disappeared, I'm going to give you one of mine that you can practice with, and it will never disappear.
Really? Oh, thank you. She kind of pauses for a moment, looks like she wants to ask a question. Kind of mouth opens and closes a few times. Why did you come to get me? Do they not want me here anymore? Did I do something wrong?
Well, Hana, you yourself haven't done anything wrong. We actually all thought you were in trouble. Do you know by chance what has happened to your town?
No, it's been some time since I've been there. Did something bad happen? Kind of gets this very worried look on her face. Is father okay?
Well, I don't know about your father, but let's just wait until the rest of the group comes and joins us and we'll talk more about it. I'm just glad you're safe.
Okay. I would have liked to have said goodbye, but I'm happy to be going home.
I'm sorry, Hana. Let's just
Okay.
wait here.
All right. Thea, while you're outside kind of talking, go ahead and make a perception check for me, please.
At this point, while she's getting all kind of nervous and anxious, Freckles is going to go and cuddle up and curl around her ankles.
Okay. Yeah, the animals at this point have kind of learned. They all kind of ambush her and start distracting her as well. And the rest of you, I'm assuming, start walking out, right?
Thea rolled a 21.
21? Okay. As you've been watching and paying attention to the frolicking going on. You can kind of hear your friends start to walk out of the cavern. And your eye kind of catches what looks like a bird. One of the first bits of wildlife you've seen. It settles on a branch, flies, settles. It's the only life or movement that you can really see other than plants, and it stands out like a sore thumb. You'd never realize quite how much there was out in the wilderness, how busy things were. It flies past and it lands somewhat near you, starts kind of pecking at the ground, pulls up a couple of what look like bugs out of the soft, peaty earth, turns to look at you, and you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Eventually you lose track and it flies off, eyes all focused for a brief moment before it takes off. At this moment, you shake yourself from your shock and you see your friends come back.
Thea, as soon as she sees the group come out, I just kind of give them this really awkward smile, trying to say everything's great, but it's not. It's just a...
Am I able to read enough of her intentions of what she's trying to communicate with just her face?
Got a decent enough insight, sure. You can see she is wildly uncomfortable. You can see that Hana's playing with the familiars.
Then I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts on the child.
Okay.
Because I want to know why she's so concerned, and I don't want to have a conversation out loud.
All right, that's a save, right?
Let me get to the correct page. Yes, it is a Wisdom save of 16.
Wisdom save of 16? Okay. Yeah, that's a failure. Her surface thoughts are fairly simple. She's focused entirely on the familiars and getting very excited about playing with them. Her kind of thoughts are all about kind of focusing on trying to catch them, interact with them.
I'm going to probe deeper. I want to know because.
Okay.
I sent the familiar on purpose to make that part happen. So I'd like to probe.
All right, you'd like to probe deeper. Okay. Digging deeper into her thoughts, you sense a few areas of focus. One, that thought of trying to capture the familiars and chase them around, playing this game with them seems to be one that starts to run a little deep.
But she specifically doesn't have any desire to kill the creatures, even though she's supposed to.
She's enjoying having fun with them. As you kind of focus, you get a sense of conflict where she's thinking about the fun that she's having, the joy that she's feeling, how exciting it is to see these creatures, blended with this upbringing of these are forbidden things. And should she be enjoying them? But they're so much fun. Oh my goodness, they're so great. They're so cute. Oh, but we shouldn't have them. We're supposed to kill them. No, but they're fun. I don't want to do that. Maybe the Emperor isn't so nice. But that's a bad thing to say. Father would be very disappointed. You get this whole little dialogue that she's kind of having.
So what I'm hearing in her internal conflict is that there's a lot of indoctrination in their culture that she's fighting against essentially right now.
Yeah, she was raised to believe to follow a law. and she's trying to reconcile, like, I was told, this is the law and we follow the law, so I should follow the law, but this is super fun and I don't want to. So you get that kind of like glee that children get of like, ooh, I'm breaking a rule. She gets kind of excited about it. And occasionally you sense that her memories kind of flicker back to the three hags that had taken care of her for these months. And you can sense a little bit of fear and kind of trepidation, but also sadness and confusion. She gets the occasional flickering thought of why didn't she get to say goodbye to them? Why is she now leaving? She kind of fixates for a moment on if she's going to be able to keep learning, magic. But no malice.
Outside of her thoughts, just like I don't remember the mayor ever saying how old she was. Can we have a good guesstimate just by looking at her how old this child actually is?
She's about 10. This is how she appears. A lot of children where you guys are from tend to grow up a little faster just because the world, it's filled with adventure and peril. So, a 10-year-old, living in a village has probably seen their fair share of, roving bandits or, nomadic goblins or something of the like. And so they tend to have a sense of responsibility that she doesn't seem to have.
Based on everything that I got from that, I give Thea the look back, like, she seems fine.
Yep.
Okay. Right. Shall we be on our way then?
Well, before we leave, I feel like Thea, since Hana seems to be preoccupied with the little creatures, Thea gets up and backs up a little slowly when she sees where Lady Indrik is, and so I kind of put myself between Selima and Lady Indrik while I'm still watching Hana, because I'm not going to take my eyes off a child that just told me they kill animals. So I whisper to them, Lady Indrik, Selima, you have no idea what I have just seen. This child can do magic. She made a mage hand appear out of nowhere, floating in the air. And then, Lady Indrik, she used my coin trick. She retrieved my coin from behind my hair and showed it to me, but then it dissolved. But that's not the weirdest part. Do you see any animals or any other creatures besides our familiars here, or have you seen any others?
No.
Just the bones from earlier.
Are they not allowed in this land?
That's what I thought. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I saw a bird flying around right in this area. It landed right next to me, and then it looked at me, not with one eye, not with two eyes. I'm pretty certain there were about 10 eyes before it flew away.
I'm sorry, you said 10?
There were 10 eyes. One kept appearing, one right after the other, and then it flew away.
Are you trying to speak quietly enough that only the two of them can hear you, or can the rest of us hear you explaining this?
I feel like I'm trying to speak quietly so that Selima and Lady Indrik can hear me, but loudly enough that if you catch a couple words nearby, you can kind of get wind of what I'm trying to say.
You're saying there's something wrong with the animals in this land?
Yes. And also, after my conversation with Hana, I'm concerned that maybe those witches may not have been so bad. I know we fought them, but I think the real evil resides in the town. And it seems as if these witches were caring for Hana and teaching her things for good. And I don't know if that bird was a good sign or not, but it's the only living creature besides our familiars I've seen in this area.
Aside from the ones we just laid to waste. So you remember the voice that entered all of our heads, right?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure the hags served that voice, and Uther was commune with his god, Tyrlin, right? And found out that this is a malevolent god that intends to cause harm. So, she may have had fun. I'm not dismissing that, but I don't think she knows what she was signing up for, because she was being trained by hags, which in my experience does not go well for the rest of us living beings.
I whisper, I don't think she signed up for anything. I'm pretty sure she was sold into it by her asshole father.
That too.
And Thea speaks up and says, I understand completely. I mean, I was killed by a hag myself, and I've never known hags to be nice creatures. But now I'm wondering if maybe perhaps they weren't the evil, but maybe they were hiding the evil or holding it back. I'm so confused. After seeing that bird, this land has got me topsy-turvy.
What do you want to do with the child?
I feel we must take the child home, but I'm not necessarily sure it should be back to the father.
I was going to say we need to confirm whether or not this child has a mother, because it's going to be difficult for me to not self-defense the mayor to death when I see her.
Well,
That'll go on our highlight reel.
we saw my temperament with the hags, so I share Uther's concern with myself. We're going to do some serious damage to this child if we don't handle this carefully.
Well, then you all know that I should not be the one to speak to the mayor, because you know how I react to stupid royalty type folk.
I'm not even convinced I should be the one to speak at this point.
So out of this point, who is able to speak to Mayor?
My hammer would like to have a very intense conversation with the mayor. It volunteers.
I respect your hammer's life decisions, but I'm going to respectfully decline your hammer's life decisions right now.
Well, let's just not have any fun then.
Haven't you had your fair share? You're extra crispy.
By the way, how are you feeling?
Oh, it's nice of you to ask now, Lady Indric.
Well, we're not fighting anymore.
Oh no, it's fine. I've been okay this entire time. Totally normal to be set on fire
Do you
by
need
my
healing?
friend.
You want me to show you what healing looks like? And I'm gonna healing hands, Uther. For
Okay.
like 5 points.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
So does that mean that you like only heal the section that your hand touches, so now he has like a handprint and then the rest of it's still charred around the sides?
Yep.
Like a sunburn.
Like a reverse scar. Yeah.
There you go. Healing.
I want you to know I know what that was, and I'm going to tell your mother later.
Yeah.
Thea speaks up and says, Lady Indric, there was no need to heal him. We could have left him crispy. He kind of looks better this way. I don't know.
You need to stop having conversations with that damnable mouse of yours. It's corrupting your mind, dragon woman.
Thea speaks up and in all seriousness, I agree with Uther, and I agree with Liv, and I absolutely agree with Lady Indric. I would love to do damage to the mayor of this town. So maybe for that reason, I think we should all send forth Salima to speak to the mayor.
Well, Salima, it
Fantastic.
seems you have been voluntold.
The only true diplomat we have left.
Fantastic.
Apparently you're the peaceful one, apparently.
Apparently.
All right.
With a charm of 0.
Okay, I have a great charm. I just failed miserably, so I'm not going to try in that city again.
I don't mind, but we need a plan. I don't really want to throw ourselves headfirst into something. If we're looking and I'm not saying this out loud so the child can hear.
She seems to be pretty distracted by the familiar.
Actually, I'm going to cast. We've done this before, haven't we? Live thaumaturgy, something to white noise our conversation.
We use prestidigitation to make some little sounds.
Yes, I'm going to cast prestidigitation to make the sound of a babbling brook as we're speaking.
Okay. All right, not a problem. You hear the sound of a babbling brook
Around the child.
around the child. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
my mistake. Then in that case, she pauses for a moment, looks around, kind of feels at her ear, like, clears it out a little bit, looks around, looks over at you, all of you.
Wave at her.
Kind of waves back and.
So we can take the child. Hi, honey.
We could. We could.
If she's interested in learning magic, there's the college that I want to go research at literally teaches magic. It is a magic college.
Could not possibly agree more. There is nothing about this place that seems like it is the right place to raise a child. Add to the fact that the father apparently cursed the entire land for some reason. I think we're doing her a favor. We just have to do it the right way so she's not traumatized in all perpetuity. Maybe we intimidate the father. The father once sent her to 3 green hags to learn magic. Maybe before I cave the back of his head in, we have him tell her that he is sending her with us now to further her magic studies.
Actually, I was going to say, why don't we teach her magic?
I don't have that kind of time, darling.
I have to agree with Lady Indric as well. There's so much going on. I don't think we'll have time for this child. So I agree with Lady Indric to take this child to a place where they can properly teach her magic.
Speaking of the child, DM, how dirty and or tattered are her clothes? Like, do we need to be casting some mending and having her use the cleansing stone before we take her back? I mean, she's been living in a cave.
She has.
So-
a little dirty, but not like she's been living in filth. Like, just she's been living in a kind of rundown, very, very peasant kind of farm vibe. Nothing's ever quite clean. It's clean enough that you're not going to contract disease. And currently she's got a little smudge on her, hiding, kind of hid in like a corner, but possibly one of the lesser kind of maintained portions of the cave. So she's a little, dirty, but nothing out of what you might expect a child of her age to have.
I want to stop for a minute and listen around to make sure I'm not hearing anything else that might have come up on the cave while we're here.
Okay.
For a brief moment.
Yeah.
If I notice she's doing this, I'm going to stop casting the babbling brook.
Okay.
What do you want me to roll? Perception?
Yeah, roll perception.
Ha! I got a 20. Ah!
Yeah!
So that's 27?
27? Okay.
Was it 20?
Yeah, that's
Very cool.
so.
Not during combat, but okay.
Looking around, listening around, hearing what you. Nothing seems to be coming from the cave. You can hear pretty typical sounds of kind of air moving around, within the cave itself. You get the smell of kind of the peat, damp earth. Everything here smells like it's constantly raining. So it's kind of soggy almost all the time. It's a little filthier of a smell here. It's not fresh and bright like you would find out in the middle of the wilderness. It's actually a lot more akin to being town. Not quite as heady or pungent, but there's an underlying element of decay to it. Kind of looking around, you don't see much in the way of anything standing out. for the time being. You child running around. You think you see a bit of movement, far kind of dense shrubbery off to the east, but it looks kind of get some of the snapping of twigs, and brush, but it's a wilderness sounder. You figure it was probably as
Okay, but not like maybe footsteps or someone observing, basically. No. Okay.
now you're pretty confident. You guys are the
Okay. So, I am not opposed to going home and foregoing that city to rot. Rather than sending any sacrificial lambs to go and talk to a mayor who would then attempt to hold that individual for the return of the child. I'd much rather not.
Hey, Salima, if he attempts to hold you hostage, I will burn the entire town to cinders in order to get you back. You have nothing to worry about.
I will melt you.
Burning towns is bad for anybody's business, even a hunter.
It's a pretty gross town. I really don't think it would be
It is a
that
pretty
bad for
gross town.
I don't know, I'm starting to get a friendship with the guards. Would you like me to come with you?
As much as we've built a lovely relationship with Andrik, I don't think it matters too far, one way or another. Question is, do we take her back to her father, which sounds like he'll trade her for anything, which it's a slaving country, I'm not surprised, and she's female. Or do we take her back with us and we get her whatever training with the Mages College, assessed, health, maybe some food?
Well, here's what I propose, of course, though, that Lady Indrik would have to give us the final word. I say we take Hana to the school where they can properly teach her magic. I'm unaware of how far away that is. First, we do that, and perhaps we come back and deal with this mayor. My thought, Salima, was yes, to just get away from this town. It's horrible. Let's just leave it to burn and rot. But I don't want this to follow other towns next door or someone to get out of there and the plague just spreads throughout the lands.
To interject though, the child did wish to return home, and if you do not bring her home, I do not see that going well if you try to force her into another new environment. So it may be good to at least let her commune with her father through some sort of spell, maybe visually or just auditorially, but there needs to be some connection with her to the town and a conversation, because that was what was stated that she wanted.
Well, she was traded. I don't know what her relation is with her father, because she didn't seem like the type that was like, oh, daddy, I miss you. So, she doesn't strike me as the type that is just dying to be in the arms of her father. I could be wrong. Maybe it's the trauma. But at the same time, we could raise the question and offer her a chance to learn, rather than going and bringing her back on a silver platter back to her father, who caused this plague.
All right, so here's the other thing.
You need to talk to her.
Not to sound too much like what I am, but I want my money.
True.
We have 500 gold waiting for us. And for me, it's more of the principle thing than the actual quantity of the money. We're here as representatives from the Adventurers Guild. And what we do is finish our contracts. Turning our back on that complicates things significantly. So I propose we go and follow the letter of the contract, but not the intent. We go show the child, bring the child there, and take the child with us when we leave. Back to Korensburg.
I think that's a good plan, but we should at least include Hannah in the conversation so she doesn't think she's being manipulated.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to put this all on the table and offer it to her. If she wishes to stay here, that's her choice. I frankly don't care. Thea, I'm able to teleport us to your hometown.
If I recall, I do remember you saying that we could not all fit Hana included into the cube.
We don't need the mansion. I just need to draw, and I pull out a piece of magic gem-infused chalk.
I've never seen such a thing. Please, let's do that.
So our travel home will be easy. It's going to take a matter of a minute and a half, and we can take her with us. It's the travel to the city that I'm not looking forward to because it was something like 8 hours, but I mean, we can walk it.
I would suggest to do what you did, or what you were talking about.
All right, then. So be it.
Well, then we should have a conversation with the little one.
Hannah, when you're finished drinking, I don't know where you got that water, but whenever you're finished drinking, come over and join us. We have a question for you.
I'm not drinking anything.
My mistake. Must have been some weird shadow.
I did hear a river earlier. It was very strange.
Fair. Now, my small one.
Yes, are we leaving soon?
Yes, we are. I've heard that you have an earnest desire to learn magic. Is that so?
Very much so, yes. They were teaching me magic.
I know of a school that has professors that can train you in magic. Very, very powerful magic. Is that something that you would be interested in going to?
I would love to go to his school, but I'm old enough to attend. The academy does not take children.
I come from a different land, and we can find ways to help you get started. If that's something you would like.
Would my father be coming?
Probably not. He has a job to do here.
Will I get to see him?
Would you like to?
Yes.
We can take you to see your father before we depart.
Okay.
I interject a quick question of asking young Hannah, and I say, how long have you been training under the hags? Do you know how long you've been here?
A few months, I think. They did not have any calendars in the cavern, but months, at least a few moons have passed.
Full moons, yes?
Yes, full moon. Yes.
Okay.
2, 3.
Hannah, do you have a mother?
She kind of drops. Face gets kind of low. Not anymore.
That's okay. I understand. So, this academy that I'm telling you about, you won't have to sleep on the floor anymore, and you will be fed. Does that sound good?
And there will be animals throughout the city to play with.
There will.
Kind of thinks for a bit. A little bit of a smile grows on her face at the prospect. Is it very different?
Not very different. No matter how far you travel, you'll find that this world, does not get that different.
Well, father and they people from outside our empire are mean and nasty people. Will there be lots of them?
I'm gonna kind of get on my knees and get down to like eye level with her. There are a lot of people in your life that are going to try to teach you and tell you what to think and what to do. But you have a unique power. You get to choose for you. So, do you want to come on an adventure and find out?
And I don't have to sleep on the floor?
No, you don't have to sleep on the floor.
And I get to see Morena?
Yes.
Okay. think I'd like.
Do you want to see your father first, or do you want to just go?
I think I want to say goodbye.
Okay. Then we'll go head over to your city, and we'll say goodbye to your father.
Okay, hashtag like most inspirational thing in a D&D campaign ever. Horrible, and I love it. Okay.
So like a choose your own adventure.
Right. All right then.
And with that, if there's no objections, we head off.
Did we finalize our travel plans, or are we just walking?
All right,
Walking.
who needs to rest? Because I don't mind carrying.
I could use a few spell slots to get filled.
All right.
Should definitely take a rest.
Okay.
Yes, you should.
So
Okay.
I'll stay out with Selima.
Okay. So everybody else, go ahead and head back into the mansion, eat, drink, do something. When you're done resting, come back out and bring something for the little one.
Please.
Based on the travel time, do we have time for a long rest if we're indoors?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a day and a half of travel.
Perfect. I'm gonna take a full long rest because Liv fucking needs it.
All right.
Honestly, we can rotate and do that and just have somebody out with the kid at all points. And we can each get a long rest in. So Selima and I'll stay out first round. You guys all go take your long rest. That's fine.
What time does it look like based off the sun and the position of
Wait.
everything?
What time is it exactly, DM?
Sorry, I'm just going by the sun.
No, because I have keen mind, so I make him do this.
Sure. It was late afternoon when you guys went in, so 4, 5. Well, it's winter, so let's call it 4.
Alright.
Time travels slower in winter.
Certainly can feel like it, huh?
Yes.
I know that might be science.
Okay. So, Selima and Valerica, you guys are out first.
Yeah.
All right. So, as the rest of your companions just see Hana's eyes go completely wet. Where did they go?
You see this?
Kind of squints
Hold
at
on.
it.
Hold on. I'm going to actually pull it out
Okay.
if I can find it. Okay. You see this?
Yes.
This has an entire mansion and whole land inside of it in a portal dimension. And Valerica spends the next hour relaying everything about dimensions and different dimensions and portals to this child and starts her on her education.
Sure. And
Love it.
Valerica, the nerd that she is,
Yep.
does not notice that she has lost
Nope.
that Hana has lost focus about 5 minutes in.
Yep.
Yep.
Accurate as fuck, and I love it.
Yep. All right, Thurgle, what's up?
So as soon as I go in,
Mhm.
I grab the cleansing stone
Okay.
and I come back out.
Okay.
I go, Hana.
Oh,
I hand it
Okay.
out to her.
Guys, this is huge. This is important that this man is helping someone else get clean. Just
True.
what?
She kind of looks at. Is touch it?
Yes, grab hold.
Okay. She kind of grabs it.
You
And
see, a
just-
lot of people think that portals are not actually tethered to different planes. I'm just continuing as they're going.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, you just keep explaining. Thurgle, Valerica's just talking. Nobody's listening. She's just talking.
Why portals? Portals.
You gotta think with them. Okay, so she tries out the thing, and you immediately gets a lot cleaner. She smiles broadly at you. I want one of those.
I'm sure you'll have lots of access to one where you are going. Then I go back in.
All right, sounds good.
Immediately.
That was planar transportation,
Fruits.
where he dematerialized and went back into the cube. Go ahead.
Okay.
I pick up various fruits and cheeses and some bread, and I come back out. Traveling snacks.
And what do we call that?
She doesn't even know because she ain't been fucking listening.
This looks like food.
Well, yes, that's food, but remember, that's planar transportation.
Planar transportation.
Yes.
Smile and
See,
nod.
you're getting
Margaret.
it.
Smile and nod.
Hey,
Thumbs up works too.
She kind of holds the food up to you.
bring her not meat out.
Planar transportation.
No, you
Oh.
can eat the food. The food is for you. The concept. Ugh. Realizing that this isn't
She
working.
just starts snacking.
Make sure you take notes. And then I just go right back in.
She
Did
kind
I
of
take like an apple from the pile?
very confusing. Doesn't make any sense. She just goes and keeps snacking on things.
You know, a lot of people say that about. I'm just kidding.
Let me tell you about the time.
All right. So, Selima, since I assume you are paying attention, go ahead and make a perception check
Yes.
as you travel.
Fantastic. All right. 25.
25? Okay. Okay. You travel for a few hours. Much of the landscape remains unchanged. It's still that kind of peaty, soft earth. You can see like deep tracks from animals that have been here in the last day or so. They look like deer, maybe, kind of deer or some kind of quadrupedal hoofed animal. You can see what looked like maybe a couple scavenging around. Looking around, you do see a few birds kind of flying around, very sparse kind of numbers, and they scatter almost immediately. And they kind of keep like a wide berth. Most creatures tend to keep much further than you would expect them to in the with
Am
your
I noticing deformities or anything?
at this point it's hard to get a glimpse at anything for long enough to really see anything. But as you're walking, you do see a kind of a small, what looks like a possum-like creature, kind of digging out a hole in the ground. It looks like it's kind of rooting around for something. And as you kind of notice it, Valerica just jabbering on, Hana just kind of looking around, walking, doing her thing, picking up sticks and rocks. You see the creature kind of turn, bares its kind of teeth at you, and you see 2, 3, at least a dozen eyes that you count before it runs off.
Were they eyes on stalks or just eyes?
Just eyes, just the face is peppered with almost tumor-like growths. All of them kind of pupilled eyes that look right at you. Roll a nature check for me.
Sure.
I'm gonna toss
20.
the cube to
14, 6, 20.
20. Looking at it, not all the eyes are the eyes of the creature. Some of them look like eyes from other animals you see. Like a strange assortment of eyes have been taken from various, put on this one.
I'm gonna lean into Valerica and say, if any of the creatures here decide we might be interesting to check out, burn them.
what?
Burn
Why?
them. I just saw a possum. It had maybe about, a dozen eyes on its skull, all of different animal species.
How does that happen?
Not normal. Not normally.
All right. I
So-
think we may be needing to go a little bit quicker here. Yes.
I mean, we have my whatever I can do, but
Hold this. I'm gonna jump in and pull out Midnight and Stardust.
Okay.
okay.
So
So I lead two giant
Ahana
horses out.
takes a massive few steps back. What are those?
Later transportation. Okay, these are horses. They are beasts that carry people great distances very fast.
Kind of looks at them.
I'm gonna pull down Stardust, who is this absolutely silky blonde horse, and I'm assuming Midnight's gonna be either a blue or black horse.
Black.
Black. Midnight is Selima's horse, and Stardust is mine. And I'm gonna bring her down. She's very soft.
She looks very concerned and very worried. Like she's kind of trying to hide behind whatever she can find at this point.
They may look big and they may seem to have big teeth, but don't worry, they eat plants. They're calm enough.
Why
And
don't
these
you
are
take one of those
well-trained.
apples, the apples that Thurgle brought, and try offering it to a horse? They're gonna lick your hand. It's gonna tickle a little.
You know, like that.
Since I did not specify bringing Freckles inside, I'm assuming I left Freckles out there.
My assumption.
So I'm gonna have Freckles is gonna like scurry up the horse's leg and like crawl up and sit on its head and like do like a cutesy little thing on the top of the horse's head.
Okay.
I mean Stardust specifically because she knows that horse, or he
Sure.
knows that one.
Okay. It takes a few moments of kind of coaxing. She's very trepidatious. Eventually, she kind of hands out, and the horse just the entire apple.
Did that tickle?
She just kind of jumps back. Kind of this look of like panic on her face, and then it kind of
You're
calms
okay.
down. Okay, you say horse?
Yes.
Okay,
Horse.
horse.
I'm gonna get on the saddle of Stardust.
Up you.
Would you like to ride with her?
Okay, I'll try.
All right, I'm gonna help. I'll help lift
All right,
small one up.
it looks.
We're pretty high off the ground, huh?
Kind of nods her head nervously.
You can hold on to this part right here, and I'm gonna show her where to hold on to the bridle.
I'm gonna call out Adair at the
Mhm.
same time, just so that we have somebody overhead.
Keeping an eye.
Yeah, while this is going on, because yeah.
All right, sounds good.
And we're just gonna ride.
Just gonna. All right,
Yeah.
cool. You doing fast pace?
4 hours of fast pace, I'd say, because we walked for about 4 hours, and now we're doing 4 hours of fast pace to the evening.
Sure. Yeah, it's dark by this point. It's pretty, almost like pitch black. Yeah.
Thank God for dark vision.
Yep.
Is she
Yep.
a human?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
I
making
have
sure
sparks dimly lit flying in front of us.
Okay. All
for
right.
her comfort.
As you are,
Faint light.
as you're writing, go ahead and make a survival, a perception check rather, with disadvantage because it is, and you're going very
Sparks
quickly.
and light.
And you're going very quickly.
Okay. Who is making the check? Both of us?
Both. Whoever's paying attention. If you're still prattling on about
No, I'm
portals
not.
and planar dimensions,
I'm assuming the kid's gonna knock out at some point.
We specified an hour of talking about interplanet dimension travel.
fair enough. You did specify an hour.
All right. Disadvantage.
Disadvantage?
Disadvantage.
6.
Okay.
So what is? I don't know what to remove for disadvantage.
You just roll twice and take
Roll
the
twice,
lower.
take the lowest.
Oh, okay. Here. So that's 13.
My
That's a
first one was a
12.
19.
First one's a 13. The other one's a 12.
Oh,
And you said survival?
Perception.
Perception. 19.
19? Okay.
19 is your lower?
There's a plus,
Well,
what, 7?
I have a +7 to perception, plus I rolled
Ooh.
a 12.
Nice.
That's why we live.
Okay.
Nice.
It
That's why we
starts
live.
as you're traveling, the wind kind of rushing past you. It starts getting quick. This isn't a place where it seems to snow much, but it is still really chilly. Getting later in the year, it's starting to get to the point where it's probably not wise to be outside past dark for very long. And Valerica, as you're kind of riding with Hana, you can see shivering, shattering.
I'm gonna kind of wrap my cloak around her.
Okay. But for the next few hours,
Fireball, Jesus.
nothing comes out, nothing bothers you. You don't see anything of note that stands out. Keep running through, and but eventually it does get to the point where your horses do get very tired, and both of you are feeling the fatigue of travel catch up to you.
What time?
At this point, almost night.
Liv
Okay.
never loses track of shape, so she's gonna pop out exactly after her long rest and be like, "Looks like you could use a nap."
So yeah, it's about midnight right now.
As the horses are getting tired, we're going to stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm exhausted. And I'm freezing, and so is the child. Should we just take her in?
I was going to say, if you'd like, hold on, I can make sure I'm doing this correctly. Yes, I can unattune for now, and I can pull out my phantom steed to carry us for another hour. If you'd like to let her warm up inside.
You shouldn't travel
Okay.
alone though. The animals, just so you know, Liv, I saw a possum. It had about 12 eyes, and they were all of different species eyes. So,
That's creepy
no
as
one.
fuck.
Yeah. So no one should be traveling alone. One. And then two, if any of them attempt to approach you, I probably would also recommend of not allowing it to approach you.
I'm going to use my other sending stone that I have that's connected to this doofus inside and be like, "Wake your ass up and get outside and help me."
Okay. Love
All right.
sending stones.
And then I come out.
All right. So changing guard. Are you guys just traveling all the way through the night?
Yeah. I think that's what we're doing.
No, I'm going to use my phantom steed for the hour that I have it, and then I'll send him back in to get another horse that's rested at that point.
Okay. Sounds good. How many horses do you currently have in there?
We have midnight and
Midnight and Stardust.
Okay, so they're going to need a little bit more than an hour's rest.
Okay, then after phantom steed runs out, then we'll just walk for a little bit.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, so as you are rushing forth on your phantom steed, I'm assuming carrying 3 people.
No,
No, little one's coming in with me.
Right, you unattuned. That's right. Okay, so little one goes in. All right.
I'm
I'll
just
take
gonna
the horses because I go sleep by the rock.
yeah. And
You
I'm gonna
take-
bring her inside and put her on one of the couches and lay like a animal hide over her, like a fur blanket essentially,
Okay. She's
by the hearth.
exhausted, and you can see that she wants to get excited about this entire thing. Like, this is mind-blowing for her. You can see that look of like happening. She's in absolute, but very quickly starts to.
Yeah. I'm just gonna set her up with pillows and a blanket and then go crash.
Okay.
So I have a question, just so I'm prepared for future inevitabilities. Would Liv know what would happen to something that's already in a pocket dimension should she need to blink into another plane of existence?
Sure. Shouldn't
Is
be
the
a
answer
problem.
don't?
Just
Confident
making sure
answer.
that she's not.
It shouldn't be a problem. Usually the only kinds of issues is when you try to put pocket dimensions like bags of holding inside other pocket dimensions like bags of holding. That tends to go incredibly poorly. But beyond that, yeah. Should be all right. Okay. So, writing for that hour, go ahead and make a perception check, please.
I'm going to take a rest. And like
That's it for 17, but my roll was 13.
Got it.
My computer's being wonky. Okay. 19.
19. All right, looking out. Hour passes and nothing happened. It's chilly, it's cold, it's uncomfortable. It's a wild ride for the next hour because you were going. This is Phantom Seed, so you guys are going a lot faster than. How far can you cover in that hour on Phantom Seed again?
I don't know if it gave a specific distance, just that it goes for an hour.
Let's take a look.
I'm looking Phantom Steed.
It was about 10 miles an hour. Or
Yeah.
13 at a fast pace. Yeah, so you make really good time.
Swag.
Yeah. Quite a bit.
As we're going, when we get very, very cold, I'll cast a little produce flame in my hands to like warm our hands up a little bit so we can at least hold on to the reins and keep going.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. For those of you who are inside the mansion, are you doing anything at the end of your long?
Uther reapplies the aloe vera to the affected areas. No, I'm just kidding.
It's D&D healing. You heal broken bones and with a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Uther goes to the kitchen.
Okay.
And he has the automatons prepare him just a very keto-friendly meal.
Okay.
Of just meat and some boiled potatoes.
Okay. Sounds.
Which is not keto-friendly.
Not at all.
Not at all. But I'm realizing he's low on carbs. He needs carbs right now. So
okay.
he's getting boiled potatoes and meat.
Okay, sounds good.
And,
it takes them no time to conjure that into existence.
And he's just sitting there kind of hanging out, thinking about what he just saw, and the child, and the mayor, and he's just kind of deep in thought about how he's going to behave when we bring the child back.
The child who's definitely sleeping on the couch next to the kitchen, FYI.
Is she? Nice.
Yeah.
He looks out and he sees the child, and he sees that innocent little face, and he goes, "What kind of future does she deserve?" And as he continues to eat his side of beef.
All right, I like it. Just.
Thea wakes up. She walks over into the kitchen. Immediately sees Uther and says, "Whoa, you look normal again. Well, I mean, normal for you, but still ugly for all the rest of us." But
He almost chokes on the bite he was swallowing. He goes, "Huh! I did not know someone with such a small brain should make such a big joke. Ha ha!"
oh, Uther, I had to say something because every time I open my mouth and just say, "Huh," you assume I'm flirting with you. So I had to say it strongly.
Are you saying you're not?
Anyways, so it appears the automatons are following you as usual since you are constantly making a mess in this mansion.
Things follow me because I am endearing, charming, and intimidating. One of those three reasons at all times. Don't fault the automatons. It's a natural reaction when they are confronted with such greatness.
And for the love of Bahamut, can you please put your clothes on? as you're walking around this mansion. I feel my eyes have burned and only recently have gotten better. And yet here you are again, just roaming around the halls in your usual birthday suit.
Naked cleric, run!
I was raised on top of a frozen mountain. This house is insufferably warm. Would you please not be prejudiced against my people? This is how I am comfortable. Look away. Look anywhere else. You don't have to just look at me the entire time. Although perhaps you should ask yourself why you are.
In this moment, I believe Soul runs in and tries to gesture to Uther and I to shh, and then points over into the other room, as to which Thea walks over and sees that, the little girl is sleeping in there. Yep. So I run back to Uther and I tell him, Uther, you have to stop yelling in the house. Hannah is in here and she's sleeping. Speaking of, I did want to ask you, again, I'm not speaking to you because I think you're attractive and wonderful and whatnot. I'm just wanting to peer into your brain. I don't think we're doing the right thing by bringing her to her father. What do you say?
Uther takes a bone from a leftover piece of meat and throws it at the mouse, and makes a foul gesture at it. And then as it runs off, he goes, "I'm sorry, what? I was fighting a demon. I didn't. What did you ask me?"
I have no words for you, Uther. I have no words. I just wanted to ask. I don't think it's the right idea to bring this child to the father. How do you feel about it?
Well, in my repast here, I was considering exactly that. I simply because one is born to an individual does not mean that individual deserved to be a mother or a father. I think, as hard as it may be for this child, I cannot see a way in which her father's decision to curse his own land, to blight his own land with this curse, was in any way a good act. Therefore, her father is evil. We have to separate them. Particularly, this father sold his daughter to these hags to learn magic. In exchange for doing so, he cursed his own land. Do you imagine that his plans for his now powerful magic-using child are anything but selfish and evil? What is he going to have her do 5 years from now, 10 years from now, with these new found powers that she has accumulated? I find it difficult to do anything other than walk into that office, punch the man through the window behind his desk, and then laugh about it as he dies. I don't see this being a complicated decision at all. We go, we slay that monster, we take his daughter somewhere better, and we feel better about the entire thing. This is not a difficult decision for me.
Well, then I leave it up to you to speak to Lady Indric and tell her your thoughts.
I feel like she agrees with me. She's just, I don't know, she's got a different order of priorities, but I think we're on the same page.
I'm just scared for this little child, and I don't want her to get hurt all over again. She's already frightened, and I just want to take her straight to the School of Magic.
I think a short period of pain is far better than a lifetime of manipulation and evil deeds.
Well, should one of us or both of us go out there and relieve poor Liv? Speaking of Liv, did you know she hit me?
I know I'm not there. I just keep thinking like, okay, she's never gonna let this shit go.
You're talking to the person who was set on fire by another member of our a party here. You're complaining about a punch. I was set ablaze. Really?
You're absolutely right. I apologize. And she just starts laughing and walking away to sit next to the child drinking her tea.
Women in this house, I do not understand. Uther just goes back to eating.
Alrighty. If you guys aren't doing anything else during your period of activity, Liv and Thurgle have made some pretty good time in that hour. It's still very late, so late. Are you guys just going to continue walking for the rest of your travel time? Yeah? Okay.
Well, walk for her, slight jog for me.
Okay.
I'm making a sensitive joke about carrying him piggyback style if he gets tired.
All right. Slow, medium, or fast? How quick you guys going?
Oh, as fast as we can for as long as we can.
All right. Go ahead and roll perception then.
Hey, I like that one. 19.
19? Okay.
13.
13? Okay.
Wait, we switched.
All right. The rest of the evening and up until the dawn passes without any major. You brave the frigid cold of Draxford Fen as you pass through it. I'm going to need both of you to make Constitution saving throws, please. So, but no creatures, no ambushes, nothing of note. What'd you get? A 1? Nice. All right. And what about you, Liv?
A 14.
14? Okay.
And that one.
Sorry,
so
he's got a 2 total because of
2
his
total?
modifier.
Fair enough. All right. So, as you're traveling, you see Bluxbert. You see it kind of on the horizon. You've made some very good time. Cut down an enormous amount of time, actually, with your speed. Thurgle, as the sun begins to rise and you both kind of thaw out, you are very tired, very sore, very achy. Liv, you're somewhat more used to the cold, wet kind of climate. You feel that ache and that burn, but you manage to shake it off. Thurgle, you, due to exposure to the elements, are going to take 1 point of exhaustion.
Ooh, rough.
Yeah. But the day begins anew, and Liv, you would know. Thank you. Keep in mind at about 8 a.m. The sun is up. It is shining. You can see little bits of frost have formed on some of the plants and things that you're passing by. There seem to be these pockets of earth that are kind of left unfrozen, almost like hot spots in a couple of places. But for the most part, everything seems clear. This close to the city, you stopped seeing wildlife a few hours ago. But you are...
Like including creepy wildlife.
Mm-hmm. You didn't really see much at all during the pitch black of the night, but you've definitely stopped hearing and seeing anything a few miles away from the city.
Even with my 60-foot dark vision.
Mm-hmm. Even then. Yeah, you guys were going quick, so most things tended to avoid you if anything's out there. But you've got a few more hours of travel left, but you guys are pretty beat. You can continue traveling yourselves if you'd like, or you can switch out with some of your companions.
We're now in a new day, correct?
You are in a new day.
And I'm going to send a message on the sending stone to Valerica to attempt to wake her up and come out. It's going to be like, hey, I don't know how long you've been asleep. We're tired. Please take shift. Live.
Okay.
Have I gotten a long rest in at this point?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So
We were
I'm just
midnight to 8 a.m.
okay.
Yeah, they took graveyard.
I'm gonna kind of like stretch and stumble out.
Okay.
Uther, Thea, you guys are up.
The dragon lady?
What?
Lady.
I'm going.
As you all begin to kind of rise, Uther and Thea, you guys have been up and then kind of spent most of your time kind of in a more kind of chill state. Because who needs to be up that, that late at night or that early in the morning? By the time you all are kind of up and about, you notice that Hana is already wide awake and she's been kind of running around and exploring and kind of see things have been moved a little bit as she's kind of looked around at things. But you do see her sitting on one of the near one of the kind of chairs. She's sitting on the floor and she is busy conjuring what look like different kind of illusions. Looks like she's trying to create illusionary forms of your familiars.
And take the child.
Being quite good at that, young lady.
Thank you. I try very hard.
You're doing an amazing job. Would you like to come outside with us and see if you can practice out there?
Okay.
For her my hand, see if she takes it this time.
She kind of struggles to reach it, but she managed to grab a hold of like one of your fingers.
Squat down, and I'll walk her to the exit. Yes, exactly. Yes, that's a demonstration right there. And we'll walk her out.
Okay, so who is out currently? Thea, Uther.
And we're still out because I couldn't go back in till the child comes out anyway.
Fair enough. Valerica, you going out
Very
too?
cold and tired.
Yes, it is fucking cold.
While they're all outside, I unattune everyone. I'm just playing.
Including Salima, you guys she just spits out.
I'm on a rock. I'm waking up. My rock, my mossy rock, gives me the.
As Thea and Uther make the exchange with Liv and Thurgle, I ask one of the two, or both actually in the same room, who cleaned the child? I did notice the child was clean.
Thea, you're never gonna believe this. It was him.
Huh. Thurgle, had I known you had a big heart, I would have volunteered you as well to speak to the mayor.
Big heart? It's not even big heart. I've been around this man for a very long time. He loves to wallow in stench, so the fact that he wanted to clean up another being is amazing.
I'm so surprised you went in that direction. For some reason, I thought you were going to explain to me something else that was big. But never you mind. Let's make the switch.
Don't worry, I have great personality.
Uther just dies laughing. Uther thinks that's the best thing he's heard all day long.
It's the first thing you've heard all day.
Oh.
Great way to wake up.
Let's just say, living on the ship for as long as I did, I got accustomed to not really caring about my hygiene very much. Salt air, salt water, salt in your fucking cracks everywhere. You just stopped caring after a while.
This is a vast improvement. You should have smelled him a few years ago when I first met this fucker.
Low tide at the wharf.
And look at him now.
High tide at the wharf. With that, I need some fucking rest. I go back into the house.
Okay, sounds good.
I take time to reattune while there's other people out there to watch over me while I do that, and then I go into the house.
All right, sounds good. No problem switching shifts. Uther and Thea, you see it's probably only going to be a few more hours before you guys reach the town.
We're walking, right? Because we don't have any horses.
True, you are walking.
Yeah. So I'll pick up Hannah and sort of set her on my shoulders.
All
I'm just gonna let her like sit up there as I sort of walk around.
right. She a little unbalanced for a while before she kind of settles in and kind of sits and just looking around. Thay, you look up, she's got this kind of smile on her face and watching everything.
I look up at Uther and I kind of smile, kind of noticing, he also has a heart. This is new. Anywho, I tell Uther, as soon as you're finished or you get tired, let me know and I will let her fly.
Ooh.
Why must you one-up me, woman?
That is how my world works.
Okay. You walk for the next few hours towards the town of Bluxbert, and immediately you notice deep tracks as you hit one of the roads. You notice kind of deep tracks, deep footprints that look like wagon tracks, deep grooves. See, as you draw closer, a different set of guards standing outside the city gates, posted, not wearing the same city, wearing this dark, kind of light. It's lighter armor, like kind of think Gambison. Each bearing different flags, or kind of the same flag with the same kind of crest, kind of a black field, with a gold, what looks like a and you see the gates of the city are open.
Are we visible from where we are to the guards?
Fairly flat land, but you could probably hide. There's a couple of like hillier outcropping, probably find.
I feel I extend my arm out to stop Uther from going any further. And I say, Uther, is this the plagued land that we came from originally?
Yes, and I can't be certain, but it looks like the Empire may have sent some reinforcement to the town. This clearly is now under new management. I'm loath to wake our friends, as two of them only recently got any kind of arrest. But this appears to be a different situation than what we expected walking into.
I'm wondering if we should just proceed the two of us with Hannah, but as soon as we get inside, we let everyone come out of the mansion.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Hail! And I'll summon my little fae.
Pops into it next to you, floats, gives you a nod of acknowledgement.
Hail, do me a favor. Head in to the mansion. And if I give you the signal, wake everybody up and get them out here quickly. We're going into uncharted waters.
Gives you a nod and then peers into.
So I ask Hannah to come down and just hold my hand as we walk up to the guards.
Okay. She looks like the Emperor's men.
That you've seen this sigil before? You've seen this banner? This looks like the Emperor's troops?
Oh yes, this is the sign of the Empire. Did anything?
You
Did something happen? Is everything okay?
Your town had some problems while you were away, and frankly, it probably did need some extra help from the Empire.
Oh,
But
well, in that
I
case, this might be a good thing. They may have an emissary here. This could be good.
I agree, young lady. I agree. Good job using your brain, young woman. I think you may be right.
Kind of gets this
Wow.
proud look on her face.
Stroll up to the guards.
One of them
Well
kind
met,
of holds up a hand.
well met, gentlemen. You appear to be a new group from them when we left here a few days ago. Something happened.
One of them, both of them are fully helmeted. So you cannot see their faces. They both kind of pause for a moment. Who are you? What is your business here?
My name is Uther. This is the Lady Thea. We were hired by the mayor of this town to attempt to fix the plague of eyeball creatures or whatever the devils they were that beset the town. We left a few days ago to investigate potentially the cause of the problem, and we have now returned with the mayor's daughter.
Hmm. You had to hire mercenary. Well, safe to say you're no longer. But I assume you'd be expecting payment. And you hear this kind of sharp whistle coming from within his helmet and a snap. And a more lightly armored individual. You guys now looking up at the walls, you can see the normal contingent of guards is now interspersed with some of the polished looking individuals. More well-armed armor, less, city volunteers and more uniformed soldiers. More lightly armed gentleman up this time, helmetless, kind of slick-backed hair, and a little bit of stubble growing on his face. You can hear they kind of whisper back and forth to each other. He goes up to you. Please come. Up to you to the town center. Well, well, deviate.
As we bid farewell, I try one moment to try to do this and see if any of it comes back to me. Nobody knows this. No. Okay, brand new people.
They all kind of
okay.
look at each other, look at you.
You don't have the lib.
You catch under your breath as you're passing by one of the guards or one of the soldiers. You just hear foreign beings. You are then led through the city streets, now somewhat more familiar to you, and you see a notable presence of these kind of soldiers. You see these carts that are there. One in particular seems to be an enclosed carriage, where you would expect to see the equipment to attach, horses or beasts of burden. It looks as though there are stirrups for people. And you can see a group of more kind of rugged, kind of more muscled but less armed individual. No weapons, no armor. Standing in a cluster, chains binding their wrists and their legs. Several guards just watching. You are further led into town hall. It's been somewhat vacated. One of the clerks in the back room watches. Your escort says, "You may go up, but watch your tongue."
Morning.
Are we going into a building, or
Yes.
are we still outside?
Going into a building? About to. If you'd like to do anything, do it now.
Yeah, I'm starting to get nervous that this is going to get a little dicey, and I'm pretty sure we need everybody. Question for the DM. Thea has a feature called City Secrets, meaning I know the secret patterns and flow to the cities, and I can find passages through the urban sprawl that others would miss.
Sure.
Could I gesture to Uther to continue forward with Hana while I find some sort of secret passageway off to the side that I can possibly get into the mansion, tell everyone they need to get out without being seen?
Sure. Go ahead and roll a perception check to see if you can find anything. And do so with advantage since you are used to finding the small, forgotten, and hidden.
Okay.
Gotta love urchins.
My whole life has led up to this moment. Ooh, 20!
Natural 20?
Yes.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
Just 20.
Okay, so 20. All right. So you have no problem finding a little niche. The building's kind of stuck very close together. There's kind of small spaces that you can kind of fit through to break line of sight, and most of the guards don't see. They seem to have kind of looked and then ignored. They've kind of acknowledged that you're here. They don't seem to be paying much. You're fairly confident you could probably break line of sight for a few moments before you draw too much focus.
Do I have a chance to speak to her before she does that?
Sure.
Quickly. These appear to be slavers, or at least people that keep slaves. Advise our friends that they need to be armed and ready for combat, but it may not be best for Lady Indrik to come out, because I'm guessing these are army regulars and they're going to know who she is. And if these are folks that keep slaves, then she may be a high value target. I don't know that we want her unless we're fighting our way out of here.
Without saying anything, I nod to Uther, just kind of a gesture to say yes.
Okay.
It's exactly what I'll do.
All right, sounds good to me.
So Thea's going to find a place to place the cube. I'm going to jump into the mansion immediately because I only have mere minutes.
Yep.
And now I'm inside. Where's everybody?
Various rooms.
Kicking.
Liv and Thurgle are probably resting.
Speaking
I'm
of,
in the kitchen.
I had a question about the short rest. Does that negate the exhaustion point for him, or does
It
that
does not. It would need to be a long rest. Yeah.
All right, Thea runs in and just yells, "Everyone needs to wake immediately. We are back in the lands of Hana's home, and it is completely different, so it seems."
I take off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Are we just appearing out of nowhere on the grounds?
I'm just gonna. What is going on, Thea?
Yes. Hold on.
Intercom system. Like, how do we all actually hear her? This is a mansion.
It's not huge. It's big enough, but you can kind of hear it echoing through.
Did it wake us up from our short rest?
I use my thaumaturgy. Thaumaturgy.
I like it.
All right.
It's just a loud boom throughout the whole
So
entire
you
mansion.
do hear a very sudden, sharp shout of magically enhanced.
Thea, what do
voice.
you mean? What's going on?
We have made it back to the town. It seems a little different than how we left it.
We're in the town.
We are inside the town. Now, don't fear. we made the decision, Uther and I, not to bring you guys out before we came in. We wanted to see exactly what we were walking into. So we walked into the town, and before we were walking into the building, I noticed a couple corridors off to the side that I could sneakily get through. So we are in a place where all of us can come out, but no one, I can guarantee you, will see all of us come out.
Okay, what is going on in the city that you feel the need to get us? Why are we in this? What is
We've
And why
walked.
is Hale in the living room?
Oh, yes, I forgot about Hale. Well, Hale was supposed to let you guys know what was going on as soon as Uther said, but we couldn't do it. Uther is alone with Hana. He is walking up into the mayor's house, and we all must leave immediately. There's a scene outside that we didn't see before. There are people in stirrups. People, not animals, people.
It's a slaver community.
Wait, is the Emperor there?
I believe so. We were being led to him. I just don't get a good feeling. We
Diane,
need everyone, and we need everyone armed immediately.
No, we need to leave immediately. They're coming to kill everyone in the town. That's what the mayor said. We were racing against a clock because the Emperor was going to send executioners to the town. They're about to kill the entire town.
Well, Lady Indrik, Uther said you must stay. However, we must help Uther and Hana.
The fuck I will!
Well, I can't argue with you, but Uther did demand that you stay.
Oh, for the love of God, somebody go out there and tell Uther to turn the fuck around and walk out of the town, and then we can figure this out when we're not within the city walls. This sounds very over dramatic.
Wait, well,
Okay.
Selima, take Sparks, send Hannah inside. I'll wait here. I don't know what Uther's planning. He's not like... I don't think Uther usually barks orders. I mean, I'll cooperate.
Okay. I will. Fuck. I wish you guys had said it before we got in the doors. Okay.
Everyone is about to die in this city. It's a literal cleansing of the plague. That's why the Emperor was sent.
Well, I will jump out and I will get back closer to Uther if I can.
Would you
but
prefer...
I do suggest everyone to run out and be armed.
Tell the giant man. Tell the giant man. Once they're inside, when there are less people around and less eyes, to have his pixie tell us. And then I can come out, and whomever else is able to come out. Don't know, Valerica, but we'll figure that part out. Worst comes to worst, everybody else goes back in, unattune me, throw the girl inside, and I'll manage.
Just to throw it out there, I know this sounds weird coming from Liv, but we can avoid combat altogether if you let me unattune, use Dimension Door to get the child to go outside the city, and you guys are all inside.
Then Liv, come with me.
All right, we'll wait, I guess.
All right.
I'm going to stand by Henrik.
Tell him to give us a signal.
I will do that, Selima.
So,
Liv, let's go.
So meanwhile, Uther, what are you doing for this 4 minutes that they've been talking?
Fuck. Oh no.
I'm saying to myself, never trust a dragon woman to do anything. That damn beast addles their brains. I'm just sort of hanging out with Hannah and asking her, do you recognize anyone, sweetie? Is there anyone that you've seen before, or any of this look familiar? Do these seem like people that should be here?
Well, she kind of looks around. That's, I mean, we've had guests before, and they usually come in groups like this whenever we have someone come in from the capital. Had emissaries visit.
Good. Glad to hear it.
There's nothing seen. I mean, I don't. Did something happen?
Well, there was a sickness. There were people getting sick in your town. That's really all that was going on, young one.
Father?
was fine when he told us to come get you. He seemed quite well.
Okay, well, that's good. Good. She just kind of looks around. She roll an insight check if you'd like. Try and figure out.
Fine.
A 9? What's your passive insight?
Wow.
He is so tall, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, it's a little hard to tell.
You mean on passive perception?
Passive insight.
Ooh. Oh yeah, there's a thing. 13.
Okay. 13, that's fine. You're getting the sense that she's not particularly bothered by the presence of the soldiers. She's a little concerned and confused by your words, but you kind of get the sense, like, for her, this doesn't seem unusual. She's getting a little antsy, like she doesn't know why you're kind of standing there and waiting.
I'm going to communicate telepathically to Hale. Hale, tell that woman to get back out here immediately. There's only so long I can delay.
Okay. All right. So, back in after the several minutes of back and forth, Hale perks up and tries to grab the attention of Thea and starts kind of pulling in that direction of the teleportation circle.
So I feel Hale pulling on me, and I look up at everyone. I say, "It's time. We must all go now, immediately.
We're all going?
Everyone. No, you, Valerica, you stay. Selima,
Stay.
your choice. Thurgle and Liv.
We went
Yes?
from Lady Valerica to tell the dog what to do.
Wait. Little one. Everyone or just one?
Oh, just go, the lot of you. And I just turn on my heel and storm back in the house.
Okay.
I'm asking Hale. All or just one?
She kind of flies back and just kind of grabs different people.
I already went out.
All right.
Okay.
So Liv.
I thought the plan had been decided, so I just went.
Okay. Liv is gone. All right. So is everybody other than Valerica staying?
I saw Liv jump, and I jumped out.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good.
I'm going to say a prayer to the stars, and I'm stepping out.
I've never seen one of your plans derail so fast. This is brilliant. Okay. Uther, as you're standing talking to Hana, you see the rest of your party just pop into existence next to you. Thurgle, did you say you were leaving as well, or are you staying behind?
I was dragging my ass, but yeah.
Okay. Thurgle, looking beaten and tired, pops out as well. So everyone, again, except for Valerica, is there.
Lynn's wrath, woman, did you listen to nothing I said to you before I sent you in there? I said, warn them. Don't have them all come out. What do you think they're going to do when suddenly there's 4 additional strangers next to the important person we're clearly going to meet? Did you learn? Who are you?
I look at Uther and I say, I panicked. I apologize. I didn't know what to do. And your little fly friend wasn't happy.
When you told me Liv hit you earlier, I was unaware it was hard enough to cause brain damage. Sweet mother of storms.
We're going to be fine. No one will notice.
There's 4 additional people here who are all armed.
God damn it.
Get back inside now, before anyone notices.
As you're talking, you hear you all kind of catch the glimpse of one of the clerks in the back room, just kind of back away and close the door very quietly. Like, I don't want anything to do with this.
Quickly!
Oh fuck!
Inside, stay armed.
Go
Hale
back.
will tell you if we need you. This may not be a problem. Hannah seems to think this is all normal. This may be okay.
You see she's kind of looking like, why is everybody yelling so much?
Okay, I gesture at Uther to bend down, and I whisper what Valerica told us about the cleansing from the plague into his ear so that he understands why this is different in a bad way.
Please tell the lady, I understand, but I have seen no structure damage, no burning, no bodies. It doesn't seem like they've at least started that yet. But if it does appear that that's what they're doing, I will give Hale the signal, and all of you come out, and Valerica can shoot fireballs at the first person she sees, as long as it's not me.
I was going to say, me, you. It's hard to miss you. You're a friggin' giant.
I agree, but she hit me last time. Just please tell her.
Let's go. Go. Back in.
Okay, so who's going in and who's staying out?
I'll stay, and the whole time I'm looking at Uther just saying, but I told Lady Indrik to stay and she stayed.
Okay.
The first sign he said go back, I was already gone.
Thurgo's just gone.
In the kitchen.
I've
I'll
gone.
say that if we need to enact the plan for me to extract everyone as quickly as possible, to come in and make this symbol, and then I'll know that it's time to go, and that's exactly the plan that's happening.
All right, sounds good.
I have something I'd like to do.
Oh no.
I cast greater invisibility on Sparks and send him out.
Okay. Sounds good.
I want to know what the fuck is going on.
Okay.
And as Liv is telling me to give this signal when it's time to peace out with her magic, I also let her know this didn't work. No one knows this here.
You know, I might have punched you a little hard. It wasn't intentional, but I don't think you're doing it right.
Oh man.
Thea just nods in acceptance of probably right.
Okay.
I'm
So
back inside.
who
We're
is
back
yeah?
inside
So who's going upstairs? Just Uther and Thea
with invisible sparks.
with invisible sparks. All right.
And Hannah, obviously.
And Hana, obviously. Okay, fantastic. All right, so after you're back and forth kind of bickering, you go back up the stairs. Valerica, are you in Sparks' eyes right now? All right.
Yeah, I'm in my room closed with Sparks.
Okay, sounds
out
good.
there.
So you see Sparks kind of goes up the stairs, kind of keeping pace with Uther and Thea. All three.
No, he's invisible. No one sees him.
Okay, do you want him to go ahead? Or do you want him to keep pace?
Keep pace.
Right, so, like I said, keeping pace with Uther and Thea. You all hear the sounds of kind of muffled voices coming from the direction of the office of Mayor Bluxbert. You hear kind of a raised voice. Sounds kind of like the mayor. Can't really make out what he's saying, but you hear it, and you hear it get cut short very quickly. As you approach the door, you opening, walking away. What you doing?
Can I understand kind of what you were hinting at? Like, do I need to roll a sort of a wisdom or perception or something to sort of get the gist of what I may have just heard?
I'd say passively. You could understand that it sounded like there was an argument, and that whatever he was saying or shouting in this case was just cut off.
Hannah, this may be a grown-up conversation. Would you feel comfortable just waiting outside while we talk to your daddy?
Okay. Wait.
Here, we'll just go talk to your father and just make sure everything's okay. I think he's got company, and I don't want to interrupt.
All right.
Thank you. And I'll open the door as I set her off. Maybe
Okay.
there's like a bench against the wall or something like that.
Sparks flies into the room and goes and perches immediately.
Okay.
I'm going to hand Hana Soul so
Okay.
that Soul can keep her company and kind of protect her a little bit.
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you, Thea.
Okay. So she kind of distracts herself playing with Soul a little bit and kind of keeps herself out of sight a little. And so for those of you who go in, you see within the room, you see the mayor's desk. You see there is a another one of the kind of the city clerks that's there. You see two kind of heavy armored Imperial Guard looking people. You see a stately kind of individual, kind of this long black hair, very kind of carved, kind of sharp features, an elven man standing kind of hands behind his back. And you see a kind of shrouded, shadowy, hooded figure standing over writhing and choking body of Mayor. And as your eyes are drawn to the scene, you see him trying to grasp at something around his throat. You can just make out what looks like cord or twine. The figure behind him pulling it taut, face kind of covered, eyes are just almost blank, staring. As the elven gentleman turns around to see you. Ah,
And we wanted to kill him.
if you will excuse me, we will be done about now. And you see the body of the mayor slackens. And he snaps one of the guards, goes and just pulls him off of his chair. And the more stately goes and sits down. The mayor was at the desk. I assume that you are the mercenary to resolve his little problem.
Little problem that it would seem he caused.
So I assume. How much was he paying you?
Gold per adventurer, and there were 6 in our party.
I see only 2,000.
The others waited outside of the town. We didn't feel it was prudent for all of us to come in, seeing as there was clearly something going on here.
Very well. He nods towards the clerk, who is looking horrified. Just absolute, just like shock on their face. And he kind of said, well, go. And you see they kind of just run off. Down, you hear the footsteps down the stairs. So, what did you find?
Absolutely, my lord. May I ask with whom I have the pleasure of speaking?
Ah, of course. Very rude of me. I am Emissary Zoran. I've come to relieve the mayor of his position here. Threats to the Empire. Well, yes, any leader who would allow his people to be so decimated by something is a threat.
I must say it heartens me to hear that you were as disapproving of the situation here as we were. We were quite distressed when we first came to the town and saw the state it was in. But regardless, we had heard of the problems with these plague creatures, these I stalked beasts and came to see if there was any aid we may proffer. And, well, the mayor said he had a theory that perhaps these hags, living in a cave outside of the town, were responsible for the contagion. And he asked us to go and see to them and also see whether or not they had his daughter. They said his daughter was missing. We went to the cave, we went to the hags, and they openly admitted that yes, they had in fact caused the contagion, but at his behest, that the mayor himself had cut a deal with them to create this plague, and in exchange he had sold them his daughter. So we saved the young lady and sought to bring her home. But I can't lie, if you hadn't have killed the bastard, I probably would have done it myself.
Well, I'm glad to have this confirmed. He confessed as you kind of like look over at his slumped over body. You can see that there are signs of a good beating.
Anything about why he did it?
Oh yes, there was a small tribe of goblinoids in the fen, and he didn't like them.
He was a moron. He cast a magical plague upon his own people to get rid of some goblins.
Well, I mean, they threatened trade lines, farmers. So, I understand the motives. I just think methods were foolish. So, now that you're here, you said you have the child.
Fine, she's outside. When I heard perhaps a struggle in the room, I thought it best not to bring her in to witness what just transpired.
Too bad. You could have learned a valuable lesson.
What
What will become of her?
Well, if she's anything like father, I don't think she'll survive long. But you have her. You have nowhere to turn her. Per tradition, she's yours now.
We'll accept. We, frankly, had already planned for a future that didn't involve her father. So, it is what it is.
Well, it is not often that I see eye to eye with foreign aid of other kingdoms. But I've been surprised before. So.
Admit, you seem much more pragmatic than I was told to expect from the government of this kingdom. I dare say I have a further question for you, emissary.
That be.
Before Uther speaks,
Okay.
I just kind of gesture to Uther. I think it's time we go. We have gotten all we needed here, and let us be gone.
Well, something tells me we may be of more help to these people if the emissary is willing to hear my point. Emissary, on our journeys here, we were beset by multiple vile creatures, things even an experienced adventurer such as myself had not seen before. It seems the lands are troubled. Is this? Am I right? Did we have bad luck?
You see a half-cocked smile appear on his face. The Empire has been plagued of. It's true. And you say you eliminated this coven hags. Yes? So you're capable.
Days?
Well, it is not in the habit of the Empire to hire foreign We'd be willing to pay if you're willing.
Thea just kind of and adjust her collar and express herself. I need some air. It is so hot in here. I apologize. I will leave you two to speak. If you need me, Uther, I'm just going to be right out front. And secretly, Thea runs over to Hana and just hangs out with her.
Okay. Sounds good. All right.
Well, Theory, if you have an idea of what's causing these problems, I do tend to seek to aid people as and when they cross my path. What would you have me and my companions do?
Well, we have seen many troubles. Bandits plaguing the highway. The sages at the Academy of Velengrad has sealed themselves away, and now this plague here in town. Coven of hags. No, we'll sort these things, but since you're capable, and well, you're not from here, I would like you to investigate the capital itself. We have something of a nightmare problem.
Like fell steed or bad dreams?
Not much for wordplay itself. Bad dream, kind of. And insane. And they're on several. So, recently, a few sages from the academy, before it sealed away, and unearthed old ruins from the dynasty capital. After opening them, the heirs began to take hold of the population. We attempted to seal. Nothing. We sent our own people in. Came back. You and your friends, you're going to investigate. You're going to resolve the issue, and you will be paid well.
So I no longer have a choice.
You always have a choice. Just know, if you refuse, you will be arrested and tried with the extrajudicial killing of a official. Kind of looked over at the mayor. And your actions.
Some of the stories I heard about your government are not totally untrue.
Please do not pretend that any of your governments will not do the exact same thing in
Play politics. Well, it may be that your quest coincides with something me and my friends were already looking into. I will, of course, look to confer with them before I give you our final decision, if you'd be so kind.
I will be in the city for one more day. You attempt to flee. Expect the bounty on your heads.
Indeed. Well, I bid you leave. I'm just going to turn around and walk out.
You hear him kind of speaking in their tongue. Something kind of issuing, or hear the sound of a very large, rotund body being dragged.
So, I guess I meet Thea out on the landing.
You see
outside
Thea
the office.
and Hana. As you approach, she's, can I see my father now?
Darling, your father's He's left. He's very busy. He's been given an errand by the Empire. We just missed him. I'm sorry, sweetie. We'll have to catch him when he comes back into town.
Roll a deception.
Actually decent. Dirty 20? Is that how it's said?
30-20? Okay. You see a very kind of disappointed, crestfallen look on her face as her head kind of hangs. I understand he's important.
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
Maybe I'll send him a letter.
That would be lovely. I think he would enjoy that.
So, are we going?
Yes, we are. Absolutely. You're going to stay with us a little bit longer. Lady Thea, did you see that clerk they sent out to get our payment before we leave?
You haven't seen anyone yet. You do hear some shuffling and rustling downstairs, but you haven't seen anyone yet.
Start walking downstairs and just kind of look at Lady Thea and do the scary eyes, and then just sort of head downstairs and look for the clerk and see if he comes out anyway.
You see another door kind of ajar, and you can hear two voices kind of like loud whispering, like that stage whispering back and forth to each other, and the very kind of rapid sound of currency. It sounds like it's either being counted or just shoveled into a bag. As they're kind of like whispering back and forth kind of very emphatically, and you see the clerk kind of rush out and then stop. Here you go. He hands you this weighty bag of gold.
I trust the full count is here, and you and I won't have to have a conversation later about missing amounts.
Nope, no problems.
Thanks. Thank you, young man. I will walk out.
He just backs away back into that room and tries to hide behind the wall.
Okay, so at this point, I'm going to look at Thea. We need to have a private conversation with our friends as quickly as possible. Did you see an inn or anywhere private that we might be able to have such a conversation in this town, or do you think we need to get outside?
Do we have to stay in this town, or can we leave?
We may need to stay inside the walls. We need to find a quiet place to have a conversation inside the walls. And then we'll look around for something like an inn or a place where we could, an empty building somewhere we could go in really quick.
Sure, absolutely.
Can I talk to Hannah and ask if she might know of any place that was a family that is, or friends, a building that she might know might be empty? I know it's been a while since she's been here, but does she know of any place that's usually empty?
Empty? I don't know. There's the ugly alligator. The inn by the docks where people like to go. Some heard my father talking about it.
Hannah, do you remember where it is? Can you take us there?
Try to show you.
I look at Uther and say that is our best bet. We must go there.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's do a meanwhile.
So,
Valerica, you've watched this whole exchange through birds.
Actually, technically, I couldn't. I could only see about the first minute of it because greater invisibility only lasts for 1 minute.
Okay.
We have in our chat that she got back and told us about the strangled man, and that's about it.
Yeah, so Sparks saw that he got killed and heard that Uther and Theo were talking to him. So we know that the situation's really tense right now, and we're waiting for a sign.
Okay.
It's tense, but safe. That's what I'm able to communicate.
I mean, Hale's still here, so nothing's happened to Uther.
Yes. I don't know what will become of the child, but staying here is not an option.
No.
I'm gonna actually use my sending stone and send a message to my mother and let her know that dear mother, complications arose on quest. We'll be arriving within the next day to Korensburg with a child keen on magic.
You got 5 words to spare.
What up? No, just kidding.
Okay.
Hope all is well.
A moment passes. You hear the familiar sound of your mother. Somewhat concerned sounding. I hope everything's right. Hope you're safe. A child? We'll have a room prepared. See you soon. Love you, dearest.
Also 5 words to spare. Damn, you guys are good.
What up?
What up? Just end every call with that.
Just what up, yeah.
So she'll be cared for. Thankfully, with the resources we have, this isn't too big of a burden on my family if we just bring a child home. But we cannot make a habit of this. I want you all to understand that. We can't just keep handing people to my family and be like, fix it.
I understand that. We'll have to talk to Thea about that as well. And Uther seems to have taken a shine to the child, so.
I like her.
Oh, yeah. She's a delight. She tried her hardest with the portals. She really did. I saw her triumph through a few minutes, but she really tried her hardest.
She's a sweetie. And I think that she can learn a lot and go a lot further.
Want another cup of tea while we wait?
Sure. And we just
Humphrey.
wait for the signal.
Okay.
Please, Humphrey. I beg of you. Tea.
Yeah, tea is easy. Almost constant supply of it. So you, Thea and Uther, are led by the by your new charge through the foul streets of Bluxbert. She gets turned around a couple of times, then seems to get back on the right track. You notice there are almost no people. A couple of times you hear the sound of like shutters closing as you pass by. You can see a few city guard patrols kind of just around, kind of watch you walk. A couple of them kind of eye Anna and then kind of whisper to themselves. Eventually, you find your way down to what looks to be a massive dock that sits right on the lake. That is there. Dingy looking building. With simple kind of falling apart sign that says ugly alligator and a very kind of crudely drawn kind of alligator boards. Looks dead quiet.
We'll walk in, just sort of keeping an eye around us.
Okay. You go in, doors open. There doesn't seem to be anyone in.
Sort of. What kind of rooms do I see? Is it like a big tavern on the bottom?
You see,
or is it...
yeah, you see it's a small space. There doesn't seem to be any space for like lodging or anything, but it does seem to mostly be kind of like a tap room where people would come in after, a long day's work, probably, working on the lake, doing whatever it is that they do. kind of convene here after their day shift. So you've got tables, bars. It's dingy. The wood is kind of warped and cracked in a lot of places. Mold basically everywhere. It looks very unsanitary, but it functions. A whole bar, and you can see some kind of like dusty bottles up in the back, and like flagons and tankards and barrels in different places. You can see a door that looks like it might lead to like a kitchen, but it looks quiet and still and empty.
I'll communicate to Hale to kindly ask our friends to leave the mansion and come out so we can talk about everything that just went down. In the meantime, I'm going out through bottles and seeing if there's anything to drink or like there's any material left.
Okay, yeah, you could find a couple of different kind of bottled drinks that are there. A few meads mostly.
Since I'm noticing Uther's priorities have gravitated towards alcohol, I have decided I am going to go and make sure all the shutters are closed. I'm going to close any doors and potentially put any items in front of them to make sure that they are completely shut.
Okay.
Since I just heard him summon everyone in the mansion to come out.
Okay. Yeah, it takes you a minute or two to kind of move things around, scraping the tables against the floor to kind of block off the doors. Most of the shutters are already closed, thankfully. Kind of go around and make sure everything's taken care of. But after a moment or so, all of your friends hop into distance around you. Thurkle, are you still sleeping? Liv, are you still sleeping?
Essentially, I am tired as fuck. So if I am up, I am not functioning. I am small zombie.
All right.
I was never asleep.
Okay. You, Liv, are starting to feel the fatigue of being awake.
I mean, I took my short rest.
That's true. That is very true. Okay. So, everyone's convened.
Hannah is still out, right?
Yeah, I immediately look at Hannah.
She's still there.
How's she doing?
She looks like she's trying to occupy herself with her little illusions that she's conjuring.
So it's safe for me to assume that she doesn't know.
Yeah. Doesn't seem to be torn up or anything.
Hey, Hannah.
Yes.
Do you want to go play with Sparks inside the mansion for a minute?
Okay. Sounds fun.
Great. I'm going to unattune, I don't know, any volunteers?
I'll
Flame 'em.
volunteer.
And
Get
her in.
Okay. So you spend some time doing that. All right. And Hannah is now inside the mansion.
So you're safe in mold? Fantastic.
Quite the respite I found for us here, Lady Indric. It seems as though you knew where this conversation needed to go. Thank you for getting Hannah out of here.
Sparks was in the room with you for the first minute.
Saw her father be
Yes.
removed. Yeah.
Where does that leave us?
So, had a very pleasant conversation with an emissary of the Empire, who, before we mentioned anything, was aware of the fact that the mayor was responsible for the plague. He came into town in force with some suspicion that the situation was being at least ill managed, and it appears after torturing our dearly departed mayor, convinced him to share that he was in fact responsible for the contagion in the first place. It was a ill-aimed solution to some goblins that were in the local swamps. Nothing more complicated than that, which frankly was ridiculous if you ask me. So he removed the mayor, and here comes the good part, and I'll take a big swig, is essentially attempting to blackmail us into solving one of the Empire's problems in the capital.
My circlet light's on fire.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
would seem that in the capital of the Empire, they have recently had a problem with nightmares turning the citizenry insane and or killing people after they opened some tombs they found underneath the capital. I find it hard to imagine this isn't in some way related to the ten-eyed fiend that spoke with us down in the Hag's Cave. Regardless, he has so politely insisted that we go solve this on their behalf, for which apparently we will be compensated. However, if we choose not to, a bounty will be placed on our heads, and they will consider it an act of war. Though, seeing as they don't know where we're from, I don't know who they're supposedly going to consider it an act of war from. But, yeah, that's where we are.
All right. I'm disinclined to send you to negotiate again. Not that I blame you. Just that's a lot to process right now, Uther.
Let's be honest, if it had been you, you would have shot him with a fireball.
Yes, I would have, and we wouldn't be in this situation right now.
Aside from the fact that that may actually have been an act of war.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we have options. I told the girl I would get her to safety. I have every intention of doing that today. I can draw the portal from inside the mansion. It doesn't matter where. I can get her there and get back to the mansion while you guys stay. I can take anyone through as long as somebody stays here with the cube. We'll be fine. Because if we all teleport from inside the mansion, the physical object stays here.
I can stay behind since I have good evasive techniques and spells to get out of the city. Worst case scenario.
Selima also has a cloak that makes everything not a problem.
That is true.
I can take a nap in my hammock.
You're still asleep. You're not even in this conversation.
No, I could.
All right.
First and foremost, we are not doing this.
I don't know. I don't know how much information our kingdom has on this creature that is now hunting them. God, deity, patron, I don't know. But if our quest is truly to find more information, doing it this way may not be the worst way to do it.
Well, the first step of the plan is for certain the girl has to leave. We've seen what they've done to her father. She has to leave. There's no question of that. So we already know that plan.
And lodging has been arranged. I called ahead.
Well, and for what it's worth, the emissary gave us permission to take the child, apparently by some tenet in their religion or law that she now belongs to us anyway, so.
Oh, good. I'm glad they're not putting up a fight.
Yeah.
That could have gone much worse. All right. Well, that takes one piece out of the equation.
As you continue your debate and you continue your discussion, trying to figure out your next plan is your next.
Can't hear you.
I need on Mike. As you are continuing your conversation, figure out your next steps. I'm going to wrap for the evening because we have a very special thing that's going to happen. Have some. No? Not ready yet? Next week? All right. So for next week, we'll have a special thing ready. For those of you who are watching, we are getting some character art taken care of. So you guys are going to be able to visualize what these wonderful characters look like. That's very exciting.
Yay!
So.
Yay!
Very well done, everybody. I look forward to seeing what you guys pull off and what decision you decide to make as you've been threatened by the very Empire of Garavia to do their bidding. All right. Well, I'll be in contact with you guys over the course of the week. And for those of you who are watching, thank you very, very much. We appreciate you and all of your care and all of your wonderful patronage. We will see you next week. I will see everybody else throughout that time. Have fun. Good night.
Thank you, everyone.